Good evening, everybody. Welcome to RIPIN Self-Directed Support Program webinar. This month, we are showcasing a community information session with our guest speaker this evening, Amy Stone, and she's going to talk about the Rhode Island Sibs program that's here in Rhode Island. So we want to honor your time, so we're going to get started. For those of you who this might be your first webinar, RIPIN is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we are here to serve Rhode Islanders with special education, health insurance, healthy aging, and we act as a bridge to many other services and programs in Rhode Island. So as I said, tonight we are joined by Amy Stone, and she's going to talk about the Rhode Island Sibs chapter. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it. Hi, everyone. As Sharon let you know, I'm Amy Stone. I am first and foremost primarily a sibling. My older brother, Brian, is a really wonderful person who is supported in many ways within state services, supported by our family, supported by people around him that love him. But he is living in a really wonderful shared living arrangement close by to our family. I had to reschedule my dinner with him tonight because usually we go out on Tuesdays. So he was a little peeved with me, but I'm taking him out tomorrow, so it's not a problem. But he may call in the middle of this just to confirm our plans. But yes, my Brian is a wonderful person. He has really pushed me into working in this field. I am the transition coordinator at Pathways Strategic Teaching Center, which is a school program under the Trudeau Center's umbrella. And so I get to do a lot of great work with the families of the students that are at our school, of helping them to prepare for life after school and what school is going and what life is going to look like when they're all done. And then on the side, as I say, just for fun, I enjoy moonlighting as what used to be known as a plan writer, which is now known as an independent facilitator, or you might have heard a conflict-free case manager, or CFCM, as the state is rolling out their new conflict-free case management services. I've been lucky enough to be able to stay on and continue to support the adults and the families that I help out with in continuing to write their adult plans, which can act as a service of being able to help provide them with the services and supports that they need. And then I was reached out to recently from Sherlock Center, and they said, we have this great idea. Rhode Island doesn't have a siblings chapter. There is a National Siblings Network, which we'll talk a little bit about, but Rhode Island really needs one and wants to start one. Would you be interested in helping out? So I was thrilled when they reached out to us, and that was almost a year ago now that we've been working on this. So I'm really happy to be here tonight to share what is Rhode Island Sibs and what we're hoping for it to be able to offer. So if we can go to the first slide, Sharon, that'd be great. Perfect, thank you. So first, the Sibling Leadership Network is the national organization that supports the statewide chapters of siblings, and RI Sibs is an official chapter now within the Sibling Leadership Network. There's a variety of things that we needed to do to become a official chapter, including having at least 3 siblings to be a part of it, including working together for a minimum of 6 months. We were able to meet with a few of the directors of other statewide chapters to just kind of get ourselves going, to see what they did, what we might be looking to do. So that was really a helpful thing to be able to learn more about. The mission of the Sibling Leadership Network is to provide siblings of individuals with disabilities the information, support, and tools to advocate with their brothers and sisters and to promote the issues that are important to them and their entire families. And I know that the link was just shared into the chat as well. If anybody wants to take a look at their website, it has every state's chapter broken down as well and tells you a little bit about each statewide chapter, and you can kind of see, it's interesting how they all vary. Some are very involved, some are have more minimal opportunities to get involved, but every state is doing kind of their own thing of the ones that do have chapters, which is great. So we're really excited that Rhode Island's now a part of that. Next slide, please. So what is RI Sibs? Our logo that you can see here, we're incredibly proud of. It was a lot of fun trying to come up with this. We had a lot of different mock-ups and asking different people, what do you think? We really wanted to represent Rhode Island. So we loved that we were able to incorporate the anchor into our state logo as well. But our mission for RI Sibs is to empower siblings of individuals with disabilities with the support, tools, and opportunities to advocate, collaborate, and engage with our brothers and sisters. We aim to promote issues that matter the most to our families. And that, perfect, thank you. So a little bit about what RI Sibs has done so far. As I mentioned, we have been meeting and working together with the Sherlock Center for several months now. I was able to participate in Disability News You Can Use. If anybody knows Andrew McQuaid and Deanne Gagne are great people, invited me onto the podcast to help spread the word about RI Sibs, because right now, and a part of what we're doing tonight is just trying to get the word out there that we exist and we're here, and we are hoping that people will reach out to us for resources or advice or ideas of ways that we can continue to promote the needs of our siblings. So with that, with the support of Sherlock, we were able to send out an interest survey to collect information from siblings who were interested in joining RI Sibs. We did get over 40 respondents, 40 of them were siblings. And we were really sending out the survey asking people about what's their motivation, if they were interested in joining RI Sibs, what activities they might be interested in participating in. Are we talking maybe potentially, in-person gatherings where we can get together and either do it just as siblings or maybe bringing our siblings, and just really seeing what others feel they may benefit from as being a sibling, because obviously it's something that makes us special and very unique to each other that not everybody has a full understanding of if they weren't raised with a sibling with disabilities. So we're looking for those interests of what people are looking for, if they have preferred meeting times or dates, and different ways that maybe those other siblings that are already aware of SIBS might be able to contribute to us. So that was definitely a helpful meeting, and it rose a lot of great ideas of how to increase the communication. One of them being our open Gmail that we have available for people to send inquiries or questions to, as well as our Facebook page that we will share as well after this. When we met virtually with the siblings that indicated that they would be interested in holding a leadership position within the chapter, that's something that we're continuing to evolve to see what those leadership opportunities or their participation might be able to look like moving forward for SIBS, and how this is going to continue to move us forward. If we could go to the next slide. So right now, as I said, we have our current Facebook group, we have our Gmail account, and we're starting to try to create and increase our presence within Rhode Island by doing meetings such as this, sharing that information so that people are aware that we are here and we're available and we're interested in learning more of what siblings are looking for and how we can really help with that information. So we are looking to host in-person and or virtual meetup or events. One of the things that we just did recently within the RI Sibs Facebook page is we put out a poll to say, what areas are you most interested in learning more about for your sibling? Will it be state services? Is it employment opportunities? Do you have questions about housing for the future? We put an opportunity to learn more about Social Security and Medicaid services. So we're starting to see some of the responses from that. As of right now, it seems as though state services are the highest priority. And I think that's probably for a variety of reasons, considering the culture of the world today. So that's definitely something that we'll be looking to explore more, to see what specific state services people are interested in, and then who are going to be those people that we're going to reach out to try to bring in to offer some sort of informational session. Will it just be an opportunity to send in questions and they can be answered as needed? We're really trying to see where the pulse is on the siblings of what their needs are. So that's with the hope of the polls and Facebook page and the Gmail that we're hoping to do. Within that, as I said, we are hoping to host some educational sessions on whatever those variety of interests or whatever those topics may be for the siblings that they're asking for. And then as we're continuing to spread the word about RI Sibs and growing our Facebook page, we do currently have 19 members, which we're very excited about. It may sound small, but I think we're a small group of siblings in Rhode Island too. And one component that we're talking about and trying to explore more is, what is the sibling population that we're looking to potentially target? The women that I've been working with to help create this, we are adults who have adult siblings, but we know there is that huge need of school age siblings as well, and seeing what those opportunities can look like. But at this time, we're trying to ensure that we are growing as thoughtfully as we can and as responsibly as we can. And so at this time, on this date in 2026, our focus is more so on the adult siblings who have adult family members as well, but not to say that there's not going to be opportunity for school age siblings in the future. So that's why we're really just hoping that families are aware that we exist, and so that they can share that information with their children, whether it be now or whether them to be aware that this is an opportunity, to know that this is an available service for them in the future. Because I keep saying, if something were to happen to me and my mom right now, my other brother, I have two older brothers, my oldest brother wouldn't really know what to do or where to go if he needed to be the sole provider and caregiver for our Brian at this time, because obviously, given the nature of my work, I've kind of taken the role of being the primary person for doing so, next to my mom, of course. Great, next slide. So this is the QR code to join our Facebook page. We would really love if anybody is able to share this. I believe we're also sharing the link in the chat. Yep, there it is, for the Facebook page, just because it's an avenue that the women and I that are beginning this chapter are most familiar with. That's why we decided to move forward with the Facebook page versus another website or an Instagram or another way to be on social media. But doesn't mean that we wouldn't necessarily be open to growing this social media presence in the future. This is just how we felt we could manage it best at this time. And I think that's it for that slide. And I think that brings us to, yes, I'm here to share this information with all of you so that you're aware of RI Sibs, but I'm also looking to anybody who is joining this meeting to let me know what you think siblings might be most interested in or may need to know more about. So we're really looking to our community as well for input as to where do they think RI Sibs' biggest need is going to be for the future. So I turn it over to anybody who would be willing to let me know what they find could be the most helpful or meaningful of the issues or topics that do affect siblings for the future. Yep.
So we have kind of a small group, so I would say you can use the raise your hand, or if you just want to come off mute and talk about some suggestions or topics of issues that you as siblings might want to talk about, or like to be, for a future information session. I know my question was my oldest son is the one with the disability. My younger son is the sibling, and he's 15 right now. So he's a little too young to have a Facebook page yet, but that doesn't mean that he wouldn't be, in the future, be one of those people ready to jump in. He's already on a buddy on Unified Sports, and I have been told by his teachers that he is very aware and very kind to he's a good buddy. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So with that piece, one thing that then I would say would be, if he had an interest or questions of anything, the Gmail would be another opportunity where he could reach out to us, because I agree that was one of the conversations that we had about siblings may not have the younger siblings may not have Facebook at this time, but everybody can send us an email. And actually, I believe it's on the next slide. That is our Gmail as well, but just we will be sharing that so everybody's aware.
All
But
right.
Sharon, thank you for that.
Sure.
Perfect. Thank you, Jane.
Who's next? Who wants to talk?
Let me ask this. Before receiving the information about this training session, had anybody heard of RI Sibs yet? I'm seeing a few shaking of the
Yeah,
heads
you can
of the
pop your
ones that I
answer in
can
the chat
see.
too. If you want to put your question in the chat, we can answer it that way as well. Jane's monitoring the chat.
Sharon, I just want to make sure everybody knows where the raise hand is. If you go to the heart and you react, you open that up at the bottom of it, it will say raise hand.
I appreciate the floating thumbs up hands that I've seen on the side. I didn't realize that that was a feature that we could do. So that's exciting.
Yes, Jerry, welcome.
Yeah, I'll break the ice. Um, I'm my siblings are interested in shared decision making when you're not the mother, but when you're multiple siblings, and what that looks like towards the end of life, and those kinds of decisions.
Thank you for that. Definitely feel as though we are hearing one issue is the thought of aging parents and families that seems to keep coming up as something, especially for the if we are targeting adult siblings at this time, that is going to be a major concern moving forward. Can I clarify when you said shared decision making? Does the term supported decision making agreement, is
Yes,
that what you were
I
thinking?
guess, yeah, I guess I mean beyond the documents, to
Okay.
actually doing it and having it recognized by providers and bringing it to life, but also coming to shared decision making across siblings. So in your case, Amy, people might defer to you, but if there was a family that didn't have a you, there might be three who all are trying to support good decision making. And while we have the paperwork in place, the supported decision making, it's how to bring it to life, I guess, with providers and the system in general.
That's definitely a great inquiry. Geraldine, I have questions, but I don't want to ask personal questions on this session. So if you would like to email the RI Sibs email, I would be thrilled to be able to reach back out to you and we could maybe talk a little bit further about that. Because I don't want you to have to share any information here.
Sure.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing that up as something that is continuing to be made aware of to us, that's one of the higher levels of concern, I think, for us siblings as we're getting older, because our parents are getting older at the same time. And I think I can relate very personally to what you're potentially thinking of. Oh, and I see there's another one in the chat.
Yes. Do you want me to read it for you? You want to read it? I can read it.
Okay,
Okay, go ahead,
sure.
Amy. If you want to read it, you can.
I can read it.
All
Sure.
right.
This is from Hannah D. I think a sibling trying to support an individual as a sibling trying to support an individual with a disability. The most continual point of friction I've encountered is trying to take over from my father, who is incapacitated. Oh, Hannah, I'm so sorry. I think one of the things that we run into, and I don't know if it's necessarily just being a sibling with a disability, as it is just being a child of an aging parent who maybe isn't making what we feel are sometimes the best decisions for them or for others around them, can be incredibly difficult as well. There are legal avenues that you can explore, different things, and I'm sure Geraldine might already be familiar with things like this, such as the power of attorney for durable medical care. is something to explore, the supported decision making for sure. But a couple of components that might make that more difficult might be if the parent has current guardianship, and what that might look like, because that does play a role into the town probate courts and law and decision making. And then when you say your father being incapacitated, that is a legal term that's often used within guardianship. A person needs to be deemed incompetent to make their own decisions, but if they haven't been deemed by the judge, then they maintain all the same legal decision making abilities that anybody else does. So it's a very it could be a very loaded question. I don't know if you'd like to offer more, or also if you'd like to email RI Sibs and we can reach out to you separately if you'd like.
Amy, thank you, Hannah, for your question, and you too, Geraldine. When we were doing our campaign, things like finances always seem to cause a lot of friction. Who's going to be responsible for the financial piece of the sibling with the disability? So that might be something to explore a little more.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think.
That's a great idea.
Jane, what do you think? Do you recall anything?
Yes, I mean, I think that's a definite, stressor on families. I think, Teresa has a hand up. Go ahead, Teresa.
Go ahead, Teresa.
Teresa, if you're speaking, you are muted. I'm so sorry. No worries. I see that you put sorry in the chat. It's fine. If you wanted to put your question in the chat, if you can, we're happy to wait for you to do that.
Teresa, I think you're unmuted now if you want to try.
Can anyone hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, yay.
Yes,
okay.
we can.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I am interested in trying to figure out how to best advocate for my sibling. We too had a situation where he was fortunate enough to live at home with our parents until he was 52 years old, and a medical situation caused that not to be an option anymore. And I tried my best, but just could not manage it on my own. And so I found him a great home, but this is a whole new environment for me, and learning how to best advocate for him to have a fulfilling life in this new place that I'm not in on the day-to-day with.
Sure. That's an incredibly daunting thing to have to think about. Again, I have so many questions for you, and I don't want them to get too personal. May I ask just quickly, the new home that he's living in, is it a home that is licensed by BHDDH or Buddha?
It is, yes.
Okay, great. That's already a strong starting off point. So my assumption is that there's been a few people assigned to his team. Somebody might be called something like a service coordinator or a site manager, a program coordinator, something along those lines.
Well, yeah, we were very fortunate in that the day activity, it used to be the day program, but his community-based activity providers for the past 27 years is the same agency that we were able to find placement for him. So the transition in terms of agency-wise has been seamless. Because not the day-to-day people are very different. But so yes, that aspect is done.
That's wonderful. And do you feel like you're struggling in advocating for him because you don't know what's available, or do you feel like you're advocating for things and getting more of a pushback from it?
I do not feel like I'm getting a pushback because
Oh,
he just moved in October.
okay.
So his plan year started in September.
Mhm.
Um, I just I, I've tried to get him involved in a lot of things. I just don't know in this setting what should my gold standard be, because I don't want it to be that he's clean and fed and home.
Sure.
I want more, but I just don't know to the extent what's available, what I can do. And he does need he's pretty severe and he does need 24-hour care. So it's not a
Sure.
matter of just, finding a bowling league for him to go to. That's not going to help me.
I can understand that. Well, I know Sharon's probably itching to tell you about the RIPIN community guide, because that would have been one of the first resources that I would share with you if we were just chatting together on the side, to say that's an amazing place. Because when I asked the question to say, do you feel like it's difficult because you don't know what you don't know? Because when you're trying to plan for your sibling's life, there are so many things out there in the community that we may not be aware of. So how do we know to ask for them, of ways to expand their lives and to make them more robust? In a very broad overview of the sense, I would say I would be asking to sit down with his team. And there are a lot of I come from a world of I enjoy assessments and data and things like that. And there's a lot of assessments and things that they could be doing to talk about how are we determining what he's enjoying versus not enjoying, and or saying, well, that's not something that we can do, or well, we have this available, so he should just be able to go and do this. The term is a person-centered planning meeting, and there's a lot of resources and availability around that, that I would think that the people that are supporting him, of the paid staff members that are supporting him, would be aware of. But definitely sometimes they need a little push to try to grow things further for somebody, versus, well, this is just how we do it, and to be complacent within that. So Teresa, I love so much that you're trying to make things more and better, for your brother. For that, I think that's a wonderful thing. It's not easy by any means, and from that, you've already made me write down that we need some advocacy trainings for siblings, so that we know what we can be asking for and how to be asking for them. Because definitely I run into families of saying, well, I just, I felt bad and I want them to treat him well and to take care of him well, and I don't want to bother them and then take it out on him. And these are all the thoughts and the fears that run through our head when we do feel like we're just needing to have a voice for them. So thank you for that piece of just that thought. And again, if you'd like to speak further about this, as somebody who definitely has to advocate within the residential world for their sibling as well, I'd be thrilled to speak with you further about it if you'd like to.
I would love that. And you're a data girl. I'm a data girl. So I think you understand exactly what I'm trying to do. So thank you.
That it
Thank you.
just, yes, you're
Yes, thank you,
welcome. Please hold on.
Teresa. Actually, there's one more question before we move on, and it's from Shariva. I hope I said that correctly. She'd like to have more information on how to identify long-term care options for her adult sibling, in case he can no longer live at home. Like, where would I even begin to review resources and options to ensure he's cared for in a safe place? And she's also wondering what type of legal documented in case mom can no longer serve as the guardian. She does need to leave, so I'm going to say it sounds like we've already discussed a few of those options, Amy, right? About the supported decision making and
Yes,
collecting
but if mom's, yeah,
documentation.
if mom's
Mm-hmm.
already guardian, you do, another person does need to go back and repetition to the court. Unfortunately, it doesn't
Okay.
transfer automatically, when the guardian passes. But that's what a wonderful question to be asking.
Yeah. And just so that you know, Shariva, if you do have to leave, you will get a copy of this recording in the next couple of days, as well as all the resources that we're going to share this evening in the chat. Okay, so don't feel like if you have to leave, that you're not going to get the information, because we are going to share it. I see Charlene has a hand up. Charlene, you want to come off mute?
Hi, yes. So I'm a parent and I have 5 children. My son is 34 now, so he has one sibling that's older and he has 3 that are younger. So he's like nice and tucked in. My 25-year-old daughter now is a single parent, and she just moved back from Missouri, and she actually does self-direct supports and works with her brother. My thing is, and I'm trying to get my kids in line with advocating for him. My oldest will be the one, he'll do anything. He'll take him. He lives in Maryland. That's not a problem. But I want him to stay in Rhode Island because this is where his base is. This is where his community is. This is where people know him. So for him to move, that would be a big, big transition. Where my daughter, she's 25, she's here and she's stabilizing here now that she's moved out of state. She wants to be here. What I'm trying to get knowledge from my daughter and my other kids is the knowledge of, if like right now, because of the way the economy is, buying a house is not even like an option for me right now. But there are options out there for, like, if my son got an apartment, my daughter could live with him. There's ways that she could get paid to, be there. Um, so I'm interested in those avenues. What ways, like if she wanted to buy a house, how could, like, the in-laws apartment, how could he be a part of that? All the things that has to do with housing and the ins and outs of the different ways and styles of how he could maintain being in the household, or like him having somebody move into our household as the person coming in, like a roommate type. There's all kinds of different ways it could work, and I'm very interested in for my daughter to learn about these things now while she's young and she's doing her thing, to keep in mind these options that she might have for herself,
Yeah.
along with him. So that's what my interest is.
Well, you already have a strong knowledge about it, Charlene, just that you're aware that there can be other options. I'm thrilled to hear, because so many people just think group homes and that's it. And that is just simply not the case, especially in Rhode Island right now. We actually have a dedicated residential director, I believe her name is, a wonderful woman who's incredibly knowledgeable, named Melissa, that we can, when we were talking, whenever I put out, are we wanting to learn more about housing? It's always Melissa that's in the back of my head of who we would bring in for that training. But short answer is yes, you're correct that there are other options, and the state is very much encouraging of the out of the box ideas, because not only are group homes incredibly, they can be very, difficult and stigmatizing and socially isolating and all sorts of things. And they can be great for some people, but for a lot of people, it's not the best option. They're incredibly expensive to maintain, which is why the state has started exploring other shared living arrangements. But then, yes, also talking with families and seeing what makes sense for them as a family and how is it going to be sustainable, I think is a huge component of what they really want to help families to determine. So I'd love to hear that your daughter is already his self-directed staff. I think that's an awesome thing, and that you have your kids support so much already, but that you're already thinking long-term down the road. This is exactly what we're hoping that RI Sibs will be able to offer for the future. So I can't give you specific information because, it's so wildly individualized for the families, except to say thank you for reiterating that housing is a huge need, and to just encourage you to continue thinking out of the box in that way for him. And you're right, it's incredibly expensive to buy a house right now. It's not an easy thing, but there are opportunities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All great questions, Amy.
Yes, great
All right,
questions.
I'm going to ask one last call for hands or questions before we move on. Okay. So this is the email that I know you've all been on pins and needles waiting for. That you can reach Amy at Rhode Island Sibs. It's RHODE islandsibs@gmail.com, or you can request and join the Facebook group that she has set up. And we've already had a lot of questions, so we're going to go right to our survey. And we want to thank our guest, Amy, for joining us this evening. It's been a really great conversation with you, Amy. I think that the attendance tonight is siblings who are very passionate about making sure that their siblings have the best life that they can have to offer. So if you'd like to participate in our survey, Jane will pop it in the chat. RIPIN does read every single survey, and we share this with our presenters, as well as always trying to improve our services. And we want to make sure that we're targeting and bringing information that is relevant to the self-directed community. And next month, we're going to be hosting a focus group called Rhode Island's RIPIN Self-Direction Connection, where we're going to solicit some feedback on a possible new self-directed resource for our self-directed toolkit that RIPIN has created. So if you'd like to join us for that, we would love to have your participation. And of course, you can always contact RIPIN by calling us at 401-270-0101 or emailing our team at selfdirectedsupport@ripin.org. I want to say, is it Charlene? If you're looking for more resources, you can reach out to our email, and one of our support navigators can share some other information that might be out there for you that you can read up on to see what's going on in the community.
Thank you.
And this is all the ways you can connect with RIPIN. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. We would love to connect with you. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and say thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. We hope you've got some new information, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.